Okay, we are recording. Welcome to the YouTube. This is a clean, smokeless biochar burn.
So let's just say we got this pile of brush over here, and we split all this willow wood. A lot of it was kind of punky, rotten, full of termites, which we salvaged for the chickens.
Yep.
The weather report is going to be 80, 90 in the next few days, and since we're illegally burning within 50 feet of a combustible material, rather than having a neighbor call us in for careless burning, we thought we better get on this. So, as you know, we appreciate the use of some Gizmos. So here is a sump pump back there in a puddle.
In the swamp.
And electric sump pump for pumping water, to have that handy with an extra 50 feet. This is old school, putting fires out with buckets of water. They would keep a supply and immerse the bucket, and that sometimes worked better than the hose. I guess that Dr. Martin Cole wasn't invited. He had to invite himself, pay his own ticket to Pasadena, California a month ago. The Chuckleheads are going to be having a conference with probably 50 presenters, 4 rooms simultaneously, some in person, some doing it virtually. He had presented a short little synopsis that the conference, it was going to be called Climate and Wildfire down in California. Maybe he could talk about what he has not published yet. That is the peer-reviewed science method that is completely working against us. These college kids, if you try to talk to them, they're going to say, where's the peer-reviewed paper? If not, it's conspiracy nonsense. So Dr. Paul has not presented his paper and had it peer-reviewed, and therefore he's holding off on his theories that electromagnetic fields from satellites, cell towers, and Wi-Fi are causing combustion in the forest. So the terpenes are the oily substance that is internal to trees, and he believes the terpene levels are raised by electromagnetic fields. So the woods burn hotter, faster, and are more easily ignited. And when they get going, it's a lot harder to put something that volatile and hot out. So as to the problem that we are having involving the brainwashed masses that have been indoctrinated with, I think, what I would say involves social engineering and not science. They, as eco-terrorists, have convinced themselves since they heard it that in actuality trees live forever. So our neighbor with his 20 acres saying, you know, some people invest in the stock market. I bought some property and I intend to harvest it before I die. And he was doing just that, and the neighbors were, you know, all, you're raping Mother Earth, trees live forever, until he left one and he had to hire some arborists to come out and say, you know, that's a perfectly healthy tree, not a hazard. Well, that wasn't going to work for this eco-terrorist neighbor. I want you to take that tree down as well. It could hit my house. So this is a huge problem that we are having to endure. Jenna and I were on our way back from town. There's a public park full of 3-foot diameter, big old forest. And there's a smashed front end of a car on the street, somebody on his cell phone, and multiple fire departments and police vehicles. What do you think happened? The same thing that happens regularly at this park. These big old things, rotten, break off and fall out into the street, and they just get them off the road and leave them for Mother Nature. I guess the salamanders, the termites, the carpenter ants, they all need a place in this world, and gorgeous, perfect resources need to be left to rot. This is present day forestry in Washington State, because it's just so much easier to buy some more helicopters, hire some more young people that want to go out and do this kind of fire hazard reduction. When we do have one of these massive fires, there's no thought of people going out and for themselves just doing this kind of work in a safe manner, creating something for their garden. But yeah, that's kind of the 3 pillars of Jenna and my. Well, we're basically evangelicals on biochar, but rural employment year-round is 1. 2, wildfire reduction. And 3, use of available resources that goes to a use like vegetable gardening. And if you've looked into biochar at all, you know there's 50 win-wins for it, and at least 10 uses beyond putting it in your garden. It is an incredible substance, and we aren't making use of it, in my opinion. And that's why we continue to do these kind of things and bring it up with anybody and everybody that is willing to have a conversation with us. And to a large degree, we just get, you know, some guy in logger garb, my age, at the bar. We go talk to him. Hey, do you know about biochar? Yes, I know what biochar is, but I've come here to drink. I'm not interested in any of this discussion. So, also know some land developers, and my buddy is the younger of the 2 brothers, and he says to his older brother, so this house-sized pile of charcoal, what do you want me to do with it? Well, just get the dozer and push it down in the ravine. Make it go away. We don't need that. And yet their plan was to create a housing development, which would need soil, and there's just some sort of a brick wall towards we're going to do things slightly altered. Well, probably not until the peer-reviewed that seems so crucial to any policy changes.
And with how long biochar has been studied in academia, Cornell University specifically, they will study and study and study, but as far as popularizing or finding techniques for people to integrate in different regions, none of it has come out. Cornell had in 2007 a gorgeous biochar facility as part of their soil, plant, and animal labs set up in the 50s. So we just happened upon it, and we're using it. It's great with clay soils, good for drainage, moisture retention, pH balance, and increases cation exchange for the people getting into the details of what happens in the soil. The positive and negative ions are held in the biochar for plant roots to access what it needs. And it doesn't break down.